Welcome to a session about writing that is part of the Uganda Christian University seminar on research and writing sponsored by the School of Research and Postgraduate Studies. My name is Patty. I'm in the state of Ohio, and for the next maybe 8 minutes or so, we're going to talk about writing and get you a little excited about it and show you how it relates to your research. So I'm going to do a share screen here. Bring in a PowerPoint. So this is a picture of me and my granddaughter with one of the books that I've written. I've been writing pretty much my entire life. I love writing. And one thing I've learned as I've grown to like writing is I like research almost as much as writing. So just a quick little bit about me. I've done all kinds of writing, fiction, nonfiction. I've been a journalist. I've worked in public relations. I've been teaching at universities, written a lot of letters, newsletters, blogs. And I started writing when I was age 12. But that doesn't mean that I know everything about writing, but I know a lot about writing, and I'm going to share that with you today. We're going to look at some words: explicit, topic, sentence, symbiotic, and a positive. Don't feel anxiety if you don't know what those are, because I'm going to take you there. So basically writing, deciding what gets in, what stays out, what gets in and fits together well, what doesn't fit together well. I'm going to show you right now the state of Ohio where I live. That's a map. And here's a city in my state. I don't live in that city, but there's a song about that city. And I'm going to sing part of that song, and then we're going to break it down a bit. So Cincinnati, where the river winds, across the Mason and the Dixon line, heaven waits for me, I know, in Cincinnati, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, now, you know about music composition, and did you know that English composition is very similar? Because as you take a piece of music and break it down, you also take the words of a piece of music and break it down, and that's the English composition part. So the topic, sometimes as a writer, you can put it in a diagram like this. The topic is somebody's homesick, it's from Cincinnati, somebody wants to get home, and how is it supported in a song? Somebody's tired, somebody's traveling by foot, and then where is it? What's the location? But I want to point out some parts of this particular song, the Mason-Dixon line. If you've never heard of it, it was a line that was drawn by two people from England, two men from England, one named Mason, one named Dixon, and it was a line between when Africans were slaves and where they were free. And so anything above the line in the 1970s, they were free, and below the line, they were owned by people. Sort of a negative part of the history of the United States, but something that's important to realize in this song. When you look at background on songs, you know about the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement and slavery, but what part of that do you care about as it relates to this song? Keep that in mind as we move into text. So this is a sample abstract from a student at Uganda Christian University. On the left, it's very wordy. On the right, it's very precise or explicit. So later I want you to look at this. We're not going to spend a lot of time with it in the video, but I want you to look at this and see how the examples that are underlined are really wordy and could be avoided. And how might you do that in your own writing? Symbiotic. Here's a picture that I took in Uganda of a water buffalo with a bird on its back. You have seen that, many of you. You've seen birds on the backs of larger animals. So why do they do that? What is the science that makes them get along? The science is that the bird wants to eat the insects off the back of the water buffalo, and the water buffalo likes it because he doesn't want the insects there. So how does that relate to writing? When you have a compelling background, when you have a compelling problem statement. What that means is that you have topic sentences and you have flow and you have organization, and all of that fits together well. It has a good relationship. So I want you to look at the text in red. The very first text in red is an example of an appositive. I want you to use a lot of those in your writing, because when we're writing, if we know something in our head, other people may not know it. So an appositive is a descriptor of a noun. So a lot of people reading might not know where that village is located. So that's what you want to do. Use an appositive to clarify it. And then a topic sentence is, what is the main sentence that everything else follows? In most cases, it's going to be the first sentence, but in this case, it's the second sentence. So be open to the fact that the topic sentence might not be the first sentence. But aha, here it's the first sentence. So in this sentence, this is the topic sentence that all the other sentences work with. One of my students wrote this. He was working on his degree, a master's degree in science and water sanitation and science technology. And we found a way together that he could write a very compelling introduction to his background that really made people want to know more about how mining occurs at Lake Victoria and the unintended consequence that Lake Victoria, the wildlife becomes depleted. So let's break some rules here. I know that you are used to seeing this in your acknowledgement section, but why do we have to be so wordy? Why can't we be more concise and more explicit? Why can't you just say, I appreciate the following? And when I talked about earlier, maybe avoiding putting vagueness, if you say many and a lot, and you can find the proper data for it, it's much stronger and much better in your writing in your dissertation. Let's break some other rules in writing. As you're working on your presentation and you get a writing block about how to maybe put together the background, why not do more literature review? Why not try to write the problem statement? Move around. Maybe this is the order you want to go in. You may not want to have the traditional order that you're used to, just to free up your writing and to free up your brain. Remember, my friends, writing is not necessarily a linear process. As you think about and you get more research, the topic may shift, the purpose and objectives may change, the methodology may be adjusted. Please be open to that to strengthen your writing. And lastly, I'm going to show you this experience and learning code. This is a cone that kind of accentuates the importance of being engaged. When I sang, I think you were more engaged. When I showed you a picture of a water buffalo, I think you were more engaged. I want you to think of examples in your own research and your own lives that when you're more engaged, how you retain it and how it's much more enjoyable. So that's the end of this writing session. I look forward to seeing you in the online shell and doing the quizzes. And I hope you participate in the Zooms that we have. It's a little more interactive. So I want you to have a great day, and just remember this, everybody can write, and God bless you.